Yeah,
Anytime. It's all good. Here we go. I think we're live.
we are.
The counter is running. The
Yeah,
coffee is pouring. I can smell it. Hey, everybody, come on in.
yeah. It's not Starbucks, but it's the best we got right now.
Oh, dude,
So,
don't compare coffee to Starbucks. I'm sorry.
hey, some people. I remember having a Starbucks habit.
I like a nice smooth roast and not one that's gonna, you swallow acid. It just makes it tasty. Oh, ugh, what the heck? Starbucks is emergency con coffee. That's what that is.
Really?
Yeah,
I
you wake up early in the morning, you're dragging your ass on like a Sunday because Saturday was good and you're wore out, you hit Starbucks, But before that, who wants to pay $5 for a cup of coffee?
yeah, I had a
Well, it's bad enough McDonald's is a buck and a half anymore.
I had a real bad Starbucks problem for a while. I was every
An
morning. I
addiction?
was
Yeah, I could see that in you because you like your monster drink too. So,
yeah, I was up in the morning drinking my Starbucks.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, see Larry in the chat. Good
Larry's
morning.
first one in.
Yeah, um,
Come on in, everybody. We know you're there. We can
you
see
know,
you.
a lot of
We
talent coming out of
IndieVolt
Canada
Radio's
lately.
cranking up. Our reach is becoming worldwide.
Yeah, it's, last night, Lola got, I forgot how what her number was, but and I took a screenshot of it, but then my computer reset. But I can always go back in and pull that data. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna start screenshotting the numbers and posting them,
I can, I
and
well, you really need to. Yeah, absolutely.
so everyone can see. We can brag. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone listening to Indie Vote Radio. It is important to us. It lets us know that even if the YouTube numbers aren't high, or the Facebook numbers aren't high, that there is an audience still listening,
That
which is
that
weird.
YouTube number is very deceptive.
Yeah, which is
So,
weird because like you consider what we do kind of such a visual medium.
hmm
So it's led to me wanting to be more descriptive when speaking to people.
yeah, probably. Well, and like I keep saying, we have faces made for radio anyway.
Yeah, I
So,
guess. I mean, I
come
consider
on,
myself
just
kind
own
of
up
cute,
to it.
but other than that, guys, we
Nobody
want to
wants
thank
to
you.
stare at us for 2 hours. Come on.
We want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. We are going to go live here in a little bit. Well, we are live, but we're going to
We're
start
live
the
now.
show, and we're going to talk about a couple different things. Crowdfunding. We got some questions that got sent in,
Awesome.
and also, I believe that I believe Randy's going to talk a little bit more about a special
Going to
magazine.
going to do a dramatic reading of Niobe. No, just kidding, Larry. I wouldn't.
Alex Henning says, "Good morning, good morning, Alex." And
Morning, everybody. Alex, how you
and
doing?
Rebel says, "I fell asleep at midnight last night, so I'm wide awake making more Navy packages." Yeah, you
There you
gotta
go.
make those packages, get them done. Let's hit this intro.
Package it up.
I'll run the intro, and we'll catch you guys on the other side of it.
You gonna run that?
Yep.
You got it. I
Yeah,
got it here. If you
I
don't
got
got
it.
it,
I'm
you
good.
got it. You
Yep.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My headphones are broken. We'll get that out of the way right to start with. So instead of sitting here all day doing this, I just put my stocking cap over top of it. So it's all good.
doesn't doesn't look that bad. You like one of the kids from my one of those '90s
I
movies.
look like an extra swami. Sim, Salavim. Anyway,
Hello, everybody out there. My name is Varian Grant, and I've been making comics for 8 years. No, no, I'm just kidding. I've been making comics
such a
longer than
long
8 years.
time. Such a long
Uh,
time.
I've owned Last Call Comics for 8 years, but I'm making comics since 2008. First book I ever published was a black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I'm a father, husband, geek, creator, publisher, reluctant taxpayer, and artist. Shamefully not in that order. And this is Indie Vote Breakfast Buzz. I am joined by Mr. Rainy Zimmerman. Say hello, Randy.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're all safe and healthy. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I do independent alternative comics for decades. For the last 10 years, I was doing Flint Comics and Entertainment, which was a comic and entertainment newspaper that I was giving away around my county, Flint, Michigan area. We went through 10,000 copies of that paper every month. for 100 issues. So there's a million copies of comic paper floating out there somewhere, out around in the area. Other than that, I'm an award-winning commercial and graphic artist whose work mainly centers around cartooning and sequential art. So even though I haven't been in the direct market lately, I still have the Zim Geek channel on YouTube until they tell me I don't. I haven't put any content up in a little bit, but there's some coming. I got a couple things in the pipeline, almost ready to go. So sooner or later it'll be up there. So other than that, I'm here in Flint. Well, technically in Burton, just a couple miles south of the Badwater pipeline. So hanging in there.
The funny thing about YouTube is that, and you mentioned that, is that so many people have YouTube channels.
Volume just jumped.
Did it?
Yeah.
Could be StreamYard. It's been having an issue lately with that. Someone else had a issue where their volume went from really crappy to
Yeah, you're 5x5, but you're loud. A little loud. Not bad though. You're good. Go ahead. Sorry.
Some people have their YouTube stations or channels have really blown up within in terms of the content over the last few weeks, because now they're okay. Well, I'm stuck at home. I'm gonna draw. I'm stuck at home. I'm gonna live stream this drawing, and I find myself doing it too now. But we're doing it was something that I did beforehand, but now I find myself actually not wanting to do as much because there's so much of it there now. Yeah. I don't feel it's almost like I don't want to compete. I'm not trying to compete, and sometimes I feel bad. I feel like I'm would I be stepping on anybody's toes if I did that? Hey, I was going live at 6:00, but now this guy is.
In the world of wonderful video archiving, I don't think we have to worry about that. We just pop out, people catch us live, they catch us live. I mean, they have to catch us live on INDIEVOLT Radio unless you replay the show.
Yeah, well, we do replay it. Yeah.
But over on YouTube, they can tune us in anytime. So it's like I was listening to Ethan, and Ethan is happy if he pulls down 2,000 while he's live, and you go back a week or so later, he's got 21,000 views on his.
I think for me, just getting any type of a person watching, especially if they can hold a conversation. Trico Lutkins is in the chat. Good morning, Trico. How are you?
Good morning, Trico.
So Randy, I do got some questions booted up, but first I want to bring up this question from INDIEVOLT Radio from last night.
Stall for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm stalling now. As everyone knows that since INDIEVOLT Radio started, we've got ability for people to ask questions, and one of these questions came in last night, and it came in after Geekgasm was over, but I figured, prime opportunity to answer it.
You're gonna throw me a Lola question?
Well, it's about the industry, and the question is from a listener, and he says, well, first of all, his name is Andrew, and Andrew says, "What do you think about that rich son of a bitch, Ty McFarlane, using Kickstarter to make his action figures? He's taking money from indie creators who could desperately use that cash to get their products done."
No, there's only so much money in the bank, and god damn it, that McFarlane's taking a share of it. Holy crap. Let's be pissed. That's the dinner bell, son. Now, if you actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, bud. Go ahead.
I mean, first of all, the language is a little harsh, Andrew, but he isn't taking money from anybody. He isn't. I can assure you. But I'll let Randy go ahead and
if you sat down and listened to his video, which I did, because the first minute I saw the campaign, I went, "What the fuck is this, man?" Oh, wait a minute. We should throw up our warning that we are not meant for kids. We do use harsh language, and there's an occasional shit and fuck that slip by every once in a while. We are TV, MADLSV. The L does stand for language.
Yeah.
So, if you the first minute when you sent me that link, I popped up on the video and I went, "What the heck is this?" And you listen to it, you watch that video, and he explains to you why he's on Kickstarter or why he's crowdfunding in general. It's not necessarily Kickstarter. He didn't jump to Kickstarter because he loves Kickstarter. He jumped up on Kickstarter because that was the prime crowdfunding platform. He explains that he can't sell these toys anymore. Those the big box stores where you used to go and buy McFarlane action figures, KB Toys, Toys R Us, and he went through the list of them, and some of them I had never even heard of, are gone. So that entire income stream for him is gone.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't sell to comic shops anymore, or not comic shops, but he doesn't sell to toy stores anymore. Most of the toy stores are gone, and the comic shops now are down. And he wants to do an original version Spawn figure, only he wants to do it. It's been what, 10, 20 years since he did the original one?
Oh, longer than 10 years. That's like 20, yeah.
Probably 20.
1995.
20, maybe, 15.
Yeah, 95 has been, yeah, I mean, no, you're looking at probably
25?
30.
Do I hear 30?
Yeah.
No, it's not 30. It's got to be 25.
Yeah,
25? Do I hear 25? 25? Anyway, the reason that he made bank as fast as he did, and as much
It's actually going up live.
He is, huh?
The numbers are going up live.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was cool. That was freaky when I popped up on Kickstarter and started seeing that number roll up too.
Yeah.
But he's not. It's a specialty toy. It's in a specialty package. It's not a 6-inch figure. It's a 7-inch figure. He hasn't done one in who knows how long, and it's a McFarlane toy, so he's going to make money. You know, and instead of being able to make the money from the box stores, he's going to do a special package and offer it to people directly. That's why you're seeing this climb the way that it does. He'll be lucky if he stops around 3. I think about 3 million.
Yeah. He's going to definitely cross $3 million or so dollars. Andrew, I would say this to you.
But you can't be mad at Todd for doing this remotely, because Todd's been doing toys for decades. You know, McFarlane Toys is a brand that speaks quality that, through no fault of his own, he's not able to do as much or remotely as much as he, was able to.
All right. Larry says, "Don't diss the Todd father."
Yeah.
And Artist and Craft says, "Hey, Uncle Randy."
Hey, how are you? That's probably the niece. So.
I think that with Todd, first of all, Todd's been doing figures, like you said, for ages, and since 1995. Yeah. So, I've had a lot of those figures. In fact, I got some of the other figures. You guys can't see them, but they're up here. Some of the other Spawn. When he started doing those masterpiece versions. And
action figures and statues have been a staple of the retail direct market for decades.
Right. I don't think Todd's taking any money that wasn't there or won't be there. I mean, you look at this, to get the basic figure, it's $40. That's about the cost of like a 50-page or 60, 70-page book on Kickstarter or Indiegogo right now. So to keep that in mind, these are high quality figures.
In those figures.
Yeah. Randy, is there though? Do you kind of maybe see Andrew's point? Maybe that, oh, here comes the millionaires now coming over to Kickstarter, coming over to Indiegogo to get product funded.
If they were selling crap and playing on their name, it might be a whole different situation. But that's something that who sent that in, Mark?
Andrew.
Something Andrew needs to realize is that's not a bucket you're talking about. It's not a small amount of money, an infinite amount of money that's going away that Todd is tapping into. Todd's tapping into the people that would normally walk into a Toys R Us or that would walk into a KB Toys and pick up a primo figure. And it's not like he's asking, because look at that thing. It's not like he's asking $75 or $100 for the thing.
Yeah.
And if you watch the video, he'll go through and he'll show you. You're getting a figure, you're getting a comic book, you're getting a 3 different covers depending upon he's offering 3 different styles of the figure as to how it's painted, and the added parts that are thrown into the case. But the case is super slick. It's got a slip case on it, opens up. There's 2 pieces of foam or 3 pieces of foam total. There's a gold plate with his signature on it. There's all sorts of stuff that's being offered for this price. $40 for this is amazing, to tell you the truth. And I'm sure he's offering You know, this is like $125 figure that you would find at a direct market comic retail shop, and
I
he's
think one of
offering
the,
it to people for $40.
yeah,
Holy crap!
I think
You
one
know,
of the other appeals of it too is that, like you said, this is for people who are going to go buy the figure in the first place,
yeah.
and now they don't have to go to that toy store and track it down.
Oh, they
I
can't. That's the
right,
problem. That's why he's up here. Is all of those stores are gone.
right. I mean, like now, like for instance, I've worked at Toys R Us. My wife has worked at Toys R Us, and even before that, my father had he didn't have a reseller's collection, but he
Hmm.
had a collector's collection. And what he would find is that you had these resellers. They'd have their people go out to these stores.
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning, they're standing in front of the store. The minute the store opens, they're running in there, and they're all over. They're at the Toys R Us in this city or in that city, and they're all over. They got like 4 or 5 guys to go out. Excuse me, and they go out and they get in these stores and they buy all the figures.
Yep.
They don't buy just one; they buy 4 or 5. I remember watching my manager. I've worked at two different Toys R Us's. Um, two different Toys R Us's. I
Toys
worked at
R
two different
Us's.
Toys R Us stores, and my
Is that
manager one.
Toys are them? No,
Toys are them, yeah.
Toys are them.
Toys were them,
Yeah.
and I watched my manager actually take money from a guy uh, to bring out the cases. The guy opened the cases of Star Wars figures, went through, pulled the figures he wanted, and went up to the register and bought them. It was a win for the store manager. He's getting his pocket lined, and the guy's still gonna buy the figures.
Yeah.
All I have to do is wait and call you when the case comes in,
Yep.
and I was yelled at because when a child came in and wanted a figure, I went to the back, got it for them. No, you got to be careful because these kids, man, sometimes they have collectors, dads that are collectors, and no dad sends their kid in there for one figure. They send their kid in for, you know, 30 or 40 of them. Glenn says, "Hey everyone."
He wants to know which Toys R Us stores you worked at.
I worked at Dearborn Toys R Us. It's no longer standing, obviously. I mean, that was standing, and then
None
I
of them are
worked at
standing. None of them
yeah.
are around.
I
They
think
might
that
all
one,
still be standing, but
and then I worked at one in Sterling Heights.
they they,
Uh,
they could all soon be hospitals if things keep up.
yeah. I worked at one in Sterling Heights on what's called Hall Road. Actually, Lola worked there too for a while. So
Which amazes me why they haven't bumped into the big empty box stores around here to make hospitals.
I don't think they're
Other than the
equipped.
fact that they probably don't need them at this point.
Yeah, I don't think they're equipped, but they could be.
Only the
Plus,
showcase and the Kobo Hall down there.
plus you got to give Halloween USA someplace. It's
Well,
Spirit USA
that's true, but
someplace to go.
yeah.
But yeah, so I don't think, and Andrew, I don't think that Todd's taking any money from
So really, Andrew, you have a chance here at buying a first class, well designed, well painted McFarlane toy, which has which literally took action figures up to another level
Mhm.
at a wholesale price. And who's not going to pass that up? Now,
And
and again, this isn't comic money. This is toy money,
yeah,
and it's not an infinite amount like you're thinking.
Mhm.
This isn't the guys who buy this are still going to buy other stuff. There's still money out there. There's still people out there making money. There's still people making incomes out there. Not everybody's desperately trying just to cover their bills at this point. So,
and I'll tell you something else too, Andrew. This I'm kind of glad he did it because when they do stuff like this, now a bar gets set. So now any other creator worth their salt who's going to come on Indiegogo or Kickstarter with an action figure,
mhm.
Todd's throwing out the bar. He's throwing out the gauntlet. Be this good or better. And so,
Well, I really liked this video. I liked his explanation. I loved his display. I thought it was really genuine. I thought it was really well done, and the piece that he's selling, just amazing.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I probably will be one of the backers very soon.
And
Don't
then
know
to see him, it's like, here's the case, but it's not going to be this case
Yeah.
because we're going to make the cape bigger. So the case is going to be a lot bigger than this. The
Hmm.
cape's going to be spread out. And it was just I recommend everybody to go up there and watch the video.
Yeah. Glenn says, "Holy crap! I used to go to the hot roll store all the time. Yeah, yeah. It was. I used to work there. That was one of the better stores that I worked at, and uh, it was it was nice, but it was I think, gosh, it was probably one of those stores that you just now the Toys R Us is over. A lot of people that work there actually did go to other stores that are around the area. A lot of them ended up going to work at Costco, and I forgot where else, but yeah, just like two Costco was like, hey, Costco and Target. They were like, hey, you guys want jobs? And I only liked working there. I didn't like working at
My, my
it.
second job was at a toy store.
It was it.
Yeah, it was called Circus World at that point.
No, was
Yeah.
that like was Circus World related to Children's Palace at all?
No, Circus World got bought out by KB.
Okay.
Long, long time. Long,
Mhm.
long time ago. Back when the malls were first invented.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
KB toys. I loved KB.
Oh, this is. I still have my. I ran across my name badge the other day. I think I sent you a picture of it and a bunch of cluttered stuff I found in a box.
Circus,
Yeah,
Circus World.
Circus
Um,
World.
Randy, let me read some of these questions. Oops,
I
I'm sorry.
took I took third shift, so I'd have to be at a different schedule than my parents. So it was good. We stocked shelves all night and ran radio controlled cars through the mall. Pissed off the security people because they'd hear this. Wee. They'd come wheeling out in their golf cart, all ticked off at us. Get your ass inside your store. Anyway, thanks TJ for writing in. Yeah, that's a J, right? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Might be a good time to contact your favorite artist and inquire about commissions or those pages you're looking to get done. Perhaps the lean economy has lowered asking prices for some normally expensive illustrators. Perhaps it's always worth asking them online. Whatever, don't harass them though. Don't go, well, 150 bucks is too much.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
remember everybody's strapped for cash right now. So,
yeah. Yeah.
and these guys, if they've been a cog working for the mainstream, and they're not under an exclusive contract, no health benefits, no guarantee they're coming back to work because everything's going to shift really hard once the this is all over and people start production again. So don't be mean to your freelancer just
Mm,
because you want a job done. Now might be a time where you're actually helping him pay a bill, helping him put food on his table for his family, or anything like that, or some other necessity that they desperately want to get done. But yeah, now's the time to talk to your artist guy, especially if you wanted a commission from somebody. Now's the time to ask because he might have a piece sitting around, he or she might have a piece sitting around that's exactly what you're looking for, that they're willing to let go for a lower price. That's already done. All they got to do is pack it and ship it to you.
yeah, yeah.
You know, it might be a great time for that.
And there's nothing wrong with asking, hey, you look at
No,
some commissions done? Are you looking to do some commissions? Or,
just
hey, I have this page I wanted to done this cover. You
yep.
might find that their schedule opened up, but don't go in there and try to
Just
lowball.
have a little empathy right now, especially because these guys are working for scraps to start with. Like especially like I said, if they're mainstream um, artists that work for these companies that pay them below. If you look at how much time they probably take on a page, it's way below minimum wage. And now's the time to help them also put food on their table, get stuff, be able to cover their expenses, and you're adding to their security. I guess you would say the more secure the artist is, believe me, the more productive they are. So it's a real good time to ask if they've got any original art pages sitting around that they're willing to let go. A quick video chat over your phone or whatever, where they can hold the page up in front of you so that you know what page it is. Then you can dick around a price. But just remember, they're trying to get by as well. So
Mhm.
don't be too mean. Be a little empathetic.
Yeah. Rob says,
Hey,
"Hey guys,
Rob.
he shared the video. Thank you, Jr.
JR.
Jr. How's it going this morning? Yeah, and like you said, Randy said, have some empathy. Don't go in there. Hey, I know you're not working, so I'll give you $20 per page.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it, but
I know
just let
you're
them know.
hungry.
Yeah, yeah, um, I know you want this I know you need. I know you need some cheeseburgers. I got you. Um, Larry says, "What did you guys think?" I'll put it up on screen. Oh, sorry, I'm having all kind of mouse problems this morning. So, what do you guys think of the Niobe Sailor Rags crossover variant cover? It looks really good. Rebel, send that to me in Messenger, and I will put it up on screen here. They look pretty good, and then we'll talk about that a little bit too. All right, next question here is from our good friend
Yep.
who's wrote in before, Germs. Uh,
Germs.
Germs. He writes in on. He's wrote in to us
Yeah.
before, but he also writes a lot in. He writes in a lot on Geekgasm as well. So
Germs, being from Arizona and adhering to statewide stay at home orders, I've started to think more and more about my dream career as a director. I'll admit, I'm terrified. I'm hoping
yeah,
that's
yeah, I
not
guess.
just carried. I'm terrified to commit. Cameras are expensive, and having that talk with my wife about chasing my, in parentheses, pipe dream isn't something I see going well. James, you got to weigh the positives and the negatives. And in this time, especially right now, you don't know when the stay at home order is going to stop. So if you're going to chase your dream, I would wholeheartedly recommend you. I'm sure that you know the field. I'm sure that you've done your research, but tread lightly. Don't buy the big expensive stuff yet. Get what you can to get by, to make an impression, to start with, and then work your way up to the more expensive equipment, because I'm sure it's expensive. Now,
Yeah,
when I first started doing my commercial artwork here out of my basement, I had to justify an expense to the wife, and I was that we had to throw up on our credit card in order to get a special machine, and it tore my stomach up, worried about it. But you know what? I had that sucker paid off in 2 months. Make sure you've got the business before you spend the money on the business, if it's at all possible. I know being a director's got to be even more risky than
mhm.
being a commercial artist. So I wish you the best of luck on what you're doing. I hope you know what you're doing. Make sure you know what you're doing. And my recommendation, especially right now, is to start small. But also, just like what we were saying with artists, you might want to check around on eBay. You might be able to find some awesome equipment for sale right now. eBay or well, if you ask Amazon, you won't have it shipped out to you for a couple months at this rate. But you might check around on eBay or some of the for sale sites, especially if there's a not a camera specific site, but a filmmaker's site
Yeah.
where people are offering equipment.
There are a couple.
I'm sure there are. I mean, if there, I used to be in the silk screening business, so and I know there were a couple of sites up there, people offering different types of equipment. And if you know your equipment, you might be able to pick up an extra special deal there. But
Yeah,
I would at this point, especially under these conditions, just dip your toe in.
yeah.
Don't jump into the water.
And you might find Germs. If you talk to your wife about it, I've been blessed that I have a amazingly supportive wife who has not killed me for some of the business decisions I made.
Yeah.
So I mean, you might find that your wife is actually the same right now, especially in a situation where there's not much to do anyway.
Right.
So really, what can you hurt? But before you go jumping in, throwing several thousands of dollars into equipment, Randy said, tread lightly, dip your toe in, see what's something that you really want to do. It's not. It's if it's something that you really want to do, you're going to be passionate about it, and you're going to make time to do it. Being terrified to commit though is normal. Because you start wondering how you're going to pay that mortgage, how you're going to
Yep.
keep those lights on, how you're going to keep everybody fed. So that's totally normal.
You're only being sensible there,
Yeah, that's
especially right now.
yeah. Um, and you read, like you said, those cameras, because we have some cameras for iNDIEVOLT. We go out and shoot, and cameras are expensive. They are. The camera that we have is a shoots up to 4K, and it is expensive camera. So,
Tri-
Trico, who directed the movie,
Trico points out that my director for Otis Files used to rent equipment from the Lansing Media Center all the time.
yeah. Renting equipment is something else. I'm glad Trico brought that up.
Also,
Uh,
very much an option.
yeah, I knew a director used to go rent all of his stuff as well. Matter of fact, I know one that's currently filming. and he goes and rents equipment. He does have a camera, but now he goes and rents additional cameras that match his, so that there's no change in um, the film quality as he goes on. But definitely, have a talk with your wife. Let her know what you want to do. Let her set some expectations. You set some too. That way, you guys know. There's a goal. There's a map, a roadmap of what you want to do. That way, you're not just you know all over
Now,
the place.
now's the time to breathe, especially that you've got the stay-at-home order.
Hmm.
There's never been a better time that I can think of ever to be stuck at home because you have the net. And as long as you have a working internet, you can surf, you can do as much research as you can possibly do. And
Yeah.
that's why you got like Babbel.com offering to sell language tapes and all that. Now is the time to not sit around, be bored, or be playing the video game 5 times or 10 times more than you used to. I'm not saying playing video games is bad, but I'm just saying now's the time for you to start thinking about maybe improving yourself, getting that extra skill. You don't have to have a college paper to know what you're doing, and you can get up there. And I'm sorry for college for our sponsor, but um, now's the time to get out, or not even get out, but now's the time to get in front of that computer and do all that research that you've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Something perks your interest. No matter, you can be a comic artist and go, oh, I've always wondered about the Civil War. And all of a sudden, you're popping through all these Civil War sites. That's going to make you a better artist in the long run because you're seeing how things work. You're understanding how uniforms fit, how battles happen, what actual war looks like, which is kind of important if you're doing a war comic. And now is the time for you to really get curious. Not sit there and let the brain go stiff. You shouldn't let the body go to waste either. I'm a good one to talk about that. But get in front of that computer and surf, surf, surf. Go to places that you don't normally carefully because you don't want to pick up a virus on your computer. But
Diane, this is
surf around, do some research.
well, Dorothy's, who's apparently in Facebook jail again. She has her other account. She says, "Hey,"
Oh,
so she's in Facebook jail again. What did you do, Dorothy? What did you do? What did you do? Never mind. I don't even know what you did.
Yeah, no, you don't have to tell. No, no. That might be something you discuss on Geekgasm.
Trico says, "My director of Otis Files used to rent a clip." Oh,
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yep. If you have any questions out there, please feel free to throw them in the comments. If you have any questions out there on IndieVolt Radio, feel free to contact us.
Trico also said sometimes the media center, libraries, or community centers let you rent equipment too. So look into that.
But they have to be open first. Make sure you call them or email them and set up arrangements before you run over there and see if you can rent stuff.
Yeah, a lot of places are shut down right now too. So
you got to be real. You don't know what's open, what's not open.
Nothing's.
But we're open. IndieVolt Radio is open. What's our radio number?
Right now we are sitting at. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Right now we're sitting at 9,904 people listening. Once again, thanks to Belgium, thanks to India, the UK, and finally Germany.
We appreciate all of you, and we hope that you're healthy and safe.
Yeah.
So be careful out there.
Bring up this image that Larry sent us to. For his that's for
cool. Look at that
Rags Niobe crossover.
Yep.
Now he has told me that the Rags cover will be different. It will be flipped, so Niobe will be behind, Rags will be up front. That's gonna be pretty interesting. I do think that that cover is that needs to be a poster. You see a poster, Larry? You need to get that done. I do want to bring up something that I seen earlier too. I seen was in a chat room and I seen some guys talking about trying to cross their characters over. And maybe Larry can talk a little bit about that. He's come on.
There was a lot of talk last week about Marvel and DC doing a big crossover for the retailers.
But yeah.
Solidly pipe dreams.
But the thing about it is when it comes to indie books and crossing your characters over, you have to be very careful, guys, because you know how fleeting some friendships can be in this industry. All of a sudden now 2 years 2 years later, um, you and this person who owns this other character aren't talking, or they don't like your new political beliefs, or they don't like what you have to say, and now um they don't want you selling that book anymore.
Yeah.
uh Please understand that before you go into deals like that, that you know those,
Contracts at all times.
those things can happen. So yeah, but it is cool. It is definitely cool to see characters cross over. It helps move around the brand a bit. It helps put more eyes on
Visibility.
your brand.
Yep.
Yeah, visibility. It's really cool to be in somebody else's book and be able to put your fans' eyes on that character as well. But be very careful, because I've seen it backfire on some other artists and creators horribly, and people get caught in the middle of it. I mean, and usually it's always money related. You notice that, Randy?
Yeah.
Usually it's always money related.
Well, money shifts things.
Yeah,
It always does. You can't. It's like I think I used the analogy to you before. It's like when somebody a relative passes, and you get to see all of the siblings change because money has does really funny things to people
yeah,
as they fight over the inheritance. So
yeah. I mean, people fight over the inheritance.
and people decide that that pie is only so big, and damn it, you've got a bigger slice than I do.
Yeah,
So I want more pie.
yeah.
So
I know that we had a
speaking of
we
pies, do we have a guest?
let's see.
Is he coming? Let's hit the camera and see if he's there.
All right.
Nope.
No pie.
Damn it, he's not. I bet he's sleeping in.
No pie. No pie.
Oh, okay. So much for that.
I do have a question though from IndieVolt Radio now. This is exactly, and this is funny. Um, uh, this is from now. Some people, they don't put their names in, so I'm sorry, anonymous. You didn't put your name in. Says what the
It's
fuck?
okay. You can be anonymous with us.
Says what the fuck? They shut down all of the stores in my city. He wants to know exactly, as an artist, his art tools are essential. What the hell? We understand. We understand. Um,
All of your hobby stores are closed? Michael's is closed. You might have to start working on other paper. You might have to get a hold of a buddy and say, "Hey, you got a spare pad of Bristol? Got some extra pens?"
yeah.
That's what you might have to do during this time, or scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Is there
You
anything I can trade for? You
yeah.
know,
You can order, but it's gonna take a while. But
yeah.
I'll tell you this too. Also, this is gonna sound weird. Don't order art supplies from Amazon, because that's not a priority for them right now. Their priority is to ship essentials.
Nothing is a priority. Yeah, just the essentials are a priority with Amazon right now. Yeah.
These stores are still moving art supplies. So Dick Blick, Utrecht, uh, Jerry's Artorama, they are still moving stuff.
Does
They'll be
Blue Line Pro, I think, might have a store?
right, right.
Yeah.
They're still able to ship you stuff a lot quicker than Amazon will. So if
Again, you're
you
stuck at
need it,
home in front of that computer. Might as well jump on the net and start
yeah.
doing a little surfing. Do arts and art supplies, art, drawing supplies,
But
and see what you can get a hold of.
we become so reliant on Amazon, but we haven't thought about there's other stores out there that sell stuff, and they're not going to. They're gonna set if they can send it to you directly and cut Amazon out. They're
Which
gonna do that.
instead of ramping up their shipping capabilities at Amazon, they're just encouraging everybody else to go out there and find their own.
Yeah.
It's just like Trump in the states. Hey, go out and find your own way.
So just
That's what you have to do.
just go. Again, there's so many art stores out there that are
Snoop around, ask friends, because you
there
never
are
know.
yeah, there are art stores out there that are selling. They can't open their stores physically, but they have websites, and they can get you that stuff a lot quicker than what Amazon's going to do. Because, you know, again, like and also remember this too. Um, Amazon tends to be, Amazon has stuff, but then Amazon also has people that sell stuff on their site too, and that's what people keep getting upset about. Oh, people are price gouging. A a private citizen can ask whatever they want for an
Yeah, and be
item.
careful on those prices too. Don't let somebody get away with gouging.
Right, right. But I mean, a private citizen can ask whatever they want, and it's not illegal. You can't call the cops on a private citizen because they asked for $200
Yeah.
for an item. Now, a store you can. You can say, "Hey, this is price gouging," but a private citizen can ask whatever amount they want for an item. You don't have to pay it. Um, but a store can't raise the price of, you know, all of the spam because there's no left. So now they want $20 a can. Because I'll pay it. I'll pay $20 a can for spam. I'll pay it gladly, happily.
You should never have to pay that much for spam.
No, delicious, delicious. The meat, it was meat made by God Himself and passed down.
Jammed in a can, just for you.
That's right, just for me, just for me. We got Larry in. Larry, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to come in. Okay. Yeah. There he is. Larry, so you may have heard you're packaging Niobes right now, but you may have heard me mention I know that you're doing your crossover book with Rags. And have you done any other crossover books before?
No, no. I mean, Niobe's made cameo appearances in people's books, but never like, a part of the story. Like, some guy has a book up right now, and Niobe's like a poster on the kid's wall. You know what I mean? And so she makes the rounds like that. But this will be the first time that she's actually going to be in someone else's book as a character.
Right. I want to pick your brain for a little bit while we have you because I can't keep you on. We're not gonna be on that long today. But what do you think? Like, because we've had people, and I know people who've done crossover books before. So they'll take my character and Randy's and their character, and I'll put them all in a book together. And even if it's a one shot, which it usually is, it's a one shot just to have fun. And then for some reason, right after the book comes out, the whole thing falls apart. Have you been a part of any situations where somebody wanted your book removed, your character removed out of the story?
Well, no, like I said, this is the first time I've ever. Yeah, I don't worry about that with Brian. I got a pretty good relationship with Brian. As far as like money goes, there is no real money involved in this for me. Like, I'm just happy that Niobe's a part of it. I asked him, I said, what do we need to do business wise to make this happen? He says, well, normally I would pay you a licensing fee. But he says, I don't usually charge a licensing fee. Someone wants to use Sailor Rags. So basically the deal is he can use Niobe for that project only. And I got, access to Sailor Rags if I want to use her, like, in a Niobe story. And then we have like sort of the common etiquette of where we'll show each other, what we're writing for each character. You know what I mean? And just kind of get like the creator's approval. Yeah, Niobe would do that, or Niobe would say that, and that sort of thing, right? The biggest benefit for me is that crossover appeal. Rags has a much larger reach. They're published by Antarctic Press and they're in shops, right? So to be able to put that character on my cover, kind of opens a few doors. It, opens doors to Rags buyers. It opens doors to Antarctic Press, who are going to see this image all over the place. You know what I mean? And so it's a win-win for me. But I don't get paid for having her in the book. Like, I'm not going to get any royalties or anything like that. But my name will definitely be in the book, and links to where people can find Niobe and stuff like that will also be in the book.
The other thing though that and this is just sorry, I seen I had a message and I was not there. One of the things that I
disappeared on you?
No, it was Facebook is acting weird, but I think it's here now. One of the things that I've noticed, and like, it's kind of what's cooler about what you guys are doing is it's kind of like an ad switch. Back in, like, so many people do, oh well, I put an ad for my book in your book, and we'll swap ads.
Right.
And,
right.
I know a creator. Randy worked with this gentleman very, very briefly back in it was either as they tell me, it was either the late 80s or the early 90s. But he took a book and he made a book and he did an ad switch with a guy. But the guy put the guy's character had the initials BITCH. It was B.IT, and it stands for like battle, like battle ignition. Something. It was basically it broke it down to an anagram. Is that what
like shield? Like shield.
yeah,
exactly.
what happened was but what he didn't know was that the guy who's they put this in this book, the church paid for this other guy's book. So when the church got a hold of the book, because they went to at the time it was Quebecer World to print it. So you had to print several thousand copies. When the church got it and seen that ad, they freaked out. They said, "Hey, wait a minute, we paid for this, and this book has the word, bitch in it. We need you to remove this." So the one to please the church, he went through every issue with a Sharpie, a big black Sharpie, and scribbled the word, bitch out of this guy's ad. Well, the guy was upset. He said, "Hey, man, that's not cool. Not only that we do ads, which I actually gave you a little bit of money too, and you modified my ad. I at least want my money back." Well, this guy got, "I'm not giving your shit back." And apparently he was walking home, and this guy was waiting behind a tree for him with a baseball bat.
Damn.
And when he walked around the tree, he'd wear him out. He hit him in the mouth with the bat. As a matter of fact, his tooth was still stuck in the bat. That's why the guy is missing one tooth here. Was missing one tooth here for years, as I understand it, as legend goes. So that's all. That's all I have to say. This: don't do an ad swap and edit it. We had comments. Hold on, why are my comments not working?
I'm not worried about getting hit with a bat. I think we're good.
Ralph says we did that with some of the late ICPA Arrow books. Ad exchanges for free, that is.
Yeah.
What's an ICPA, Randy?
I don't remember what the anagram stands for, but we all tried to get together at one time and not really unionize, but help each other out. And we had a logo that we put on all of the books. That was the ICPA. Independent Comic Publishers Association. I think that's what it's.
I had the same talk with a couple other cats, not with the Rags team, but with a couple other cats that do indie comics about placing ads in each other's books, right? I talk to creators all the time on Hangouts and on Twitter and whatnot, and there's a few of us that are thinking about, I'll put an IOB ad in your book, but you put an ad in my book, and we'll just cross promote, and that will work until one guy decides that they no longer want to do it. Then we just kind of cut them out of the circle. But
Randy, when you guys would put ads in the books, though, was it? Did you guys ever have anybody that jumped up and maybe said, "Hey, you know what? I felt this guy got better."
Well, we were also talking about putting group ads together and taking out ads in different places. Like at the time, the only place that you could really be seen is Comics Buyer's Guide. So we'd be able to take out a whole ad in Comics Buyer's Guide and split the cost, 4 or 5 ways, depending upon the members in the group that were participating. But the big thing with the ICPA always came in handy, because if we were a page short, we just call up somebody and go, "Hey, I got a page."
Yeah.
Got an ad? I got a page.
Yeah. Ralph says it was the Independent Comic Publisher Association.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was there a fee to join?
No. Oh, heck no. We were just a group of guys getting together, swapping ads and trying to help each other out as much as we could, but it was it was the fact that we had that available to exchange information, to exchange ads. Hey, realm number whatever is going to press, got a page, send me a page, and it was Arrow, Troll Lords, B-Movie Comics. There were a couple other comic companies right towards the very end. We were talking to Slave Labor. We were talking to a few other companies about coming on board. But the big problem was, the bigger we got, the more voices there were. The more voices there were, the more opinionated everything gets. And then the more you start getting that kind of bickering. Well, your book does 5,000. My book does 10,000. You should run 2 of my ads in your book as opposed to 1. And, and eventually it stops being friendly. And
that's someone trying to big ball someone else. You know what I mean? And I'm not on the Rags League at all. They're in shops. I'm just like this little comic. So they could easily big ball me if they wanted to, but they don't. I'm treated like I'm part of the crew. And what's really cool is Matt Walden is putting Niobe on a cover for Punchline now. So there's gonna be like this wraparound cover, and it's featuring all these different AP characters and other indie characters. And Niobe's going to be on that too, so it's really awesome. I'm really loving these dudes over at AP. You know,
it's what's cool too is that it's the Rags team still was able to reach out. I know that they had to go online and they had to do some blocking to keep their sanity on Twitter, to keep some people away. And you know, so it's really cool for them to, even with the blocks, still reach out to people and say, hey, you know, we blocked to just to avoid drama, and you know, people.
And that's all it was. Like, you know, there was, you know, a lot of Comicsgate drama starting to pop up, and Brian was getting tagged in a lot of things that honestly had nothing to do with him, and didn't want to, you know, to weigh in. You know, he just kind of wants to. This is what he told me. You know, he just kind of wants to do his own thing and do it his way, and he doesn't want to be lumped in with any other sort of online drama group. And I can't say that I blame him.
Well, you know, I think that there is a very fine line, and Randy might agree with me on this. There's a fine line between, hey, I don't want to be involved in this drama, and then purposely covering your eyes. I'm not saying that's what they did. I'm saying that. But there are people that will, hey, you know, there's some drama going on over here. It's gonna affect you. You might want to take a look at it. And I don't care about it. I don't care about it. And you're like, but you're gonna look like an asshole if you don't. And I mean, you know, I've got a situation right now where I tried to explain the situation to a gentleman, and he's like, no, man, I don't care about any of the drama. And I'm like, okay, but when you go to Comic-Con and you walk up to this person and you high five them and give them their yearly hug, people are gonna say, oh my God. You know, okay, well, that person over there is a toolbox as well. But to avoid drama online, completely different situation. Randy from iNDIEVOLT Radio. This is from Germany. And this is from it says Fred. Fred in Germany. He says, he's this makes sense. He says, I grew up in the States, he grew up in America. And he says that one of the things that he had a problem with is that indie creators just cannot get out of their own way. Randy, why don't you talk about that, and then we'll toss it to Larry for his opinion on it too. Randy, you go first.
Well, Fred definitely has a point of view. I mean, we're all, as being an independent creator means that you're the boss, so you can do whatever you feel is right. So unless you're open-minded and you're able to level-headedly look at the business options, sometimes you don't get out of your own way. And I've seen a lot of publishers do that. Well, they've run straight into brick walls that they never got away from. Mm-hmm. You know, that's Fred does have a point, but it's all a matter of how badly you want to do business and how open-minded you are about getting that business done.
You know? He's right. You know, you are your own boss. That's the great thing about doing this, is that your successes are your merits, and your failures are your learning lessons. You know, everything. You know, any risk I take, you know, as the lead of Niobe is mine and mine alone. You know, I do work for hire. So anyone that comes on Niobe, they get a page rate, they do the work, and then their job is done. They have nothing else to do with it, right? It's up to me to promote it, to produce it, to crowdfund it, to get it out there. Right now I'm in the middle of shipping it. And so if I fail, well, that's all on me. If I succeed, well, that's, I mean, everyone can get there, but it was me who paid for the risk and took that chance. Mm-hmm. Can creators get in their own way? Absolutely. Everyone has an ego, whether it's small or large. We all got them. Eric Bischoff said that one best. And I have an ego. I mean, what was it? B. Bird said I was a pompous dude on your show or something. Remember that? I think I'm God's gift to comics, and then I don't think that at all. I think I have a cool little book. I think it's gaining a little traction. I'm going to see where it goes. I've been doing this, for 7 years. To some people, that sounds like a long time. To others, like yourself, that's a cup of coffee. But
coffee cup's older than your career,
right? Randy's coffee cup is older than my career. But I've seen guys get into this business and do one comic book and fail and then leave, and that was their due to part because their attitude about it or their ego was, I didn't become an overnight success. I'm done, or something didn't go my way, or a little bit of drama happens and they fold quickly. This is not a business where you want to do that. Comic books is a rough road. And if anyone ever said to me, man, I want to get into comic books to make money, I would laugh and tell them to find something else to do.
Yeah.
You know,
When I was on Alterna Comics, Samedi's program, I explained the first minute you get that book in your hand, you almost make up your mind at that moment if you're going to do this for the rest of your life, or if this is enough and you need to go out and find something else to do because it's just too difficult to handle.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times when I thought about giving up, man. Where I thought, oh, this is getting too expensive. The Kickstarters aren't doing as well as I hope. The art's not looking as good as I need it to be. And I took all of 2019 was prep work for this new Niobe. I went through 3 different artists before I found the right one. Took the time getting the covers done. Took Paul Green like 6 months to get me his cover because he was had personal issues and he was in the hospital. So everything took its sweet old time. But now that book is together and getting out, I'm so super pumped now. Just to I don't care if the world is plagued or not with coronavirus in 2020. I'm going full throttle, man. And I'm making networking friends, and I'm making crossover deals, and I'm trying to get this book and published by someone. Hopefully I don't let my ego get in the way of all that. And, I try and hopefully I can keep myself in check. And, I always have in the back of my mind, maybe I need to be a little bit better behaved, just a tad.
Sometimes you go along and you realize that it's time to get out of your own way and get a little humble and start doing a little bit more research, be a little bit more empathetic. And, we all make mistakes.
Especially when you're dealing with other people, right? So now that I have this crossover going on, not only do I represent myself now, but I also represent these people and vice versa to a limited degree, right? Mm-hmm. If I go and screw up big time, someone could easily go to Brian and say, hey, why are you working with this guy? He did this, and this, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he's making your brand look bad, and so those are things that if you're going to be working with other teams and other creators and other books, you have to keep that, in consideration that your actions directly or indirectly may affect them as well.
Ralph says it would seem many publishers today are a little petty. There's strength in numbers. You can accomplish much more together.
Yeah, and there's truth to that. A lot of what we do is scratch my back, I scratch your back. I put out a Kickstarter. Like I just had a message like 5 minutes ago from a guy saying, "Hey, can you share what's the Kickstarter called?" I'll actually give it a quick little plug here now. But he's like, "Hey, can you share my Kickstarter? Give me a little helping hand." I said, "Sure, I'll share your Kickstarter." And so it's called Super Cats Halloween. There we go. And so that's from Caleb. Can't say his last name. Thusat, Thucat.
Yeah.
But I've heard of Super Cats before. I heard Rob talk about Super Cats, I think. So I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I'm sure if I asked him to share, something in Niobe down the road, that he would do that. I also find that a lot of creators will back other creators. I have, I don't want to dox anyone, but I got a few creators who got their own books out right now that back Niobe, and I'll back them, whether it even be on the digital level, just enough to throw a few bucks and say, hey, support you and help get you going. And then hopefully you find fans within that aren't just creators. I think a lot of people's complaints is there's just creators backing other creators, so they're cycling the same money around. You ever hear that one?
Oh yeah,
right.
And that's really a misconception as well, because that money is constantly coming in and going out.
Yeah, right.
Ralph said that cross.
Go ahead.
All right, Ralph just said cross advertising is a great way to help one another. Go ahead, Randy.
One of the things I'm finding out, the more research that I do, especially when it comes to these crowdfunding campaigns, is we're pulling people in. There are more and more people coming back to comics than are leaving right now, because they're coming in and they're seeing different product. They're seeing a variety of product. Maybe this doesn't work, or that reminds me of a book that I loved back in the 80s, or so-and-so's doing a book. Holy crap, I need to get back up there and find out what that person's doing, when so-and-so hasn't been in the market for years because they've been blacklisted or thrown out, or just didn't want to deal with the COG system that is the mainstream.
Well, here's the other thing that's going on. Due to the pandemic, if you want, I hate the, it sucks that we have this going on, but there is a bright light in comic books in the sense of where we're seeing the breakdown in the comic book structure, from the shops to Diamond to the publishers. Right. There's a lot more eyes now on indie books, right, than ever before. People are really starting to notice, hey, let's use Comicsgate, for example. Comicsgate, Ethan Van Sciver and Dan Fraga were on Crowdfunding Comics last night, right? Okay. A show that Brian Polito was on just the week before, These guys are starting to get some eyes, and they're starting to bring on everybody. And then if you notice, like, the whole Donnie Cates call, the EVS, like, hey, let's try and work something out. People are starting to look at indies now as like, oh man, the regular structure is broken down, but yet these guys are still trucking. It's pencils up for these guys, not pencils down. And I'll tell you something about the Todd McFarlane campaign. Some people, you had a guy message say, yeah, he's taking money out of my pocket.
Yeah.
God, no, man, that's the completely wrong way to look at it. Listen, first of all, he's the Todd father, and he's the guy that really got this ball started for independent comic book creators by helping form Image and giving people a place to work that wasn't Marvel and DC. And the whole speech that you can do.
I was ready to keep a straight face on that.
I didn't keep a straight face, Larry. Keep going.
No, but I mean, there was in the comic books before Image, but Image was the one that really brought it to the forefront.
It's so fantastic to see people's perspective.
Yeah.
From Larry's perspective, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Image kicked the door open and everything blew open from Image, but that's not really the case.
It is the case for me though, because I'm not as old as you.
From your perspective.
Yeah.
So
as the case, kid, like I said, that is the case from your perspective.
These 7 guys who I followed in Marvel all now started their own thing, and it's their own characters. Oh, that's mind blowing,
Absolutely.
And that made being indies cool. You know what I mean?
No.
It wasn't just like some box down in a comic book store of a character you never looked at.
But it was like that for me.
I'm being empathetic to your perspective, Larry.
It was like that for me too, though. Like what Larry's saying, like when the Image guys left and they started these comics, I remember all these great comics and Rob and Todd and Mark and just picking
trailblazers.
Yeah, and I was like, wow,
pioneers.
These books are really awesome, and picking them up.
They had the foundation of getting royalty checks from Marvel.
Yeah,
of a few $1 million before they all decided to get together and print their own stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who started it. It matters who made it.
They sat there and looked at the check and said, "Oh, this is 10%. Maybe we need 100%."
But it was. Go ahead.
Well, the analogy is, I can write a great song long before someone popular sings it. Right? No one gives a fuck. The minute someone popular sings it, now it's something, right? So there could have been independent comic books long before Image, but no one really cared. They were there. They weren't high sellers. There wasn't like Wildcats number one.
I love your perspective. I do, Larry.
Tell me what indie comic book.
I don't want to get into a hardcore argument with you.
Tell me what indie comic book sold more than Wildcats or Spawn number one. There isn't any. You know what I mean?
Well, that's very true, but that's because the retailers had instant recognition with that title.
That's right, and so they brought it to the forefront.
What a Cerebus was or what an ElfQuest was.
Yeah, and those books were great, but they weren't high sellers, and no one.
The whole direct system was already there for them.
Old Dave Sim Cerebuses myself,
that was trailblazed.
But you never saw
by these people.
You never saw them blow up. You know what I mean? The only book that really blew up before the time of Image, in my opinion, was Turtles, right? From Mirage Studios. Turtles, was like that little book that no one really paid attention to for the longest time, and then all of a sudden just did this flip and became a 90s cartoon and a whole franchise.
Your perspective of blowing up is my perspective of sucking the oxygen out of the room.
Well, I got a question about the Turtles book, Randy, because you were there when that started. I mean, Turtles book was what, 83, 84?
No, it was probably 85, 86, 87.
Right. So I was born in 82, so I could barely read at that point. Sure. But so people always ask me, "Do you have Ninja Turtles number one?" I would love Ninja Turtles number one. No, I don't have a copy. But you were around when that book was getting pressed up.
Yes.
Was it really just their goofball title, or do you think they knew they had something?
No. It was a goofball title. It was made for fun. Couple guys out of their garage.
Yeah.
But you see, that wouldn't have happened, and this is my perspective. That would have never, Eastman and Laird would have never happened. Turtles would have never happened if there wasn't already a really huge black and white boom going on at the time. The independents at the time that Image started up were raging full on. I mean, Gary Groth's Fantagraphic was running Love and Rockets. The market, especially into the college market and into the older reader market, was expanding like a nut. And there was a huge what they called the black and white explosion of the mid-'80s. That's what Arrow was a part of. We were moving 20, 40,000 of a book. You know, my title, which was a funny animal science fiction title, went from 5 to 10 to 15,000 in orders because we had a variety of distributors, and there was a huge, unbelievable variety of diversity and viewpoints on the market during the middle 80s. You go back and well, a lot of that stuff's really almost hard to find because the retailers have gotten rid of it a long time ago. Ralph can tell you. Ralph was there.
Ralph says that I can see conventions that are just indie creators, GoFundMe guys, Indigo people in our future.
Oh yeah,
Let's hope so.
You're seeing that now, really, though, with Space and IndieCon to a good degree. Corby's show in Columbus is amazing for independent.
I don't know if we'll ever have conventions that will be the same again, though. Even after the breakout, we're always going to go, okay, we had this breakout. It can happen again at any time. So what are the new precautions going to be for large mass gatherings, right?
Well, you'll see it come back. It's just a matter of chasing off the virus is all.
I want to go back to the Carl McFarlane Kickstarter for a second, right? Because we got off on a tangent. But what I wanted to say was that's not a bad thing. He's not taking money out of people's pockets. In fact, if I had known this was going to happen, I would have done my best to have my book on Kickstarter right now. Why? Because Todd McFarlane is bringing eyes that probably never looked at Kickstarter before, and they're all checking out Kickstarter now. And I want to be a byproduct of their passing through. You know what I mean?
And again, there's more people coming back onto the market that hadn't been there in a long time. So
it's like the wrestling analogy, right? Yep. People will complain about Hulk Hogan getting the spotlight. Well, guess what? If Hulk Hogan wasn't there, no one would come and see you, right? So you're making money off of Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan's making money being the main event. Well, Todd McFarlane right now is the main event, and everyone else that's on Kickstarter right now might get a second look where they never had a first look before from people who are coming here to buy that Spawn toy, and then go, oh, geez, I wonder what else is on here. Oh, this is cool. This looks cool, you know?
Back during the early 80s, Ralph Griffith says Arrow Realm #4 published 42,000 copies, which was huge, especially considering it was an independent book at the time. Now, who knows what the Realm is now? Not a whole lot of people.
Yeah,
but it was raging back in those days, and there were a lot of other titles that were like that. But my point is, again, from the perspective point of view, is that back during the mid 80s, when all of these books were raging, when all of these black and white books were running hot, and yes, there were people coming in already abusing the system, that were doing crap books that these retailers were buying, crap black and white books that these retailers were buying, and literally giving the independent market an incredibly bad name. Image came out, and literally, suddenly you had a black and white bust, where the retailers no longer had that extra money to spend on the independent market. Very much like the way Andrew was worried about, though Kickstarter doesn't have that, crowdfunding doesn't have that finite amount of money. The independents back then really constricted hard when Image came out. And a lot of these companies a lot of these titles went out of business. A lot of these companies shriveled up and disappeared because the retailers were more into selling superhero books like Marvel and DC than they were in trying to promote an independent book. And also at that time, you had Marvel deciding to try to be their own distributor, which triggered Diamond and the monopolistic distribution system through the direct market. Well, but I was there to see a lot of these guys shrivel up.
Well, the one thing
some of that product was really worthwhile, and some of it you don't see around anymore.
One thing I want to ask is because, and Ralph said most of the books are $25,000, 25,000 units each.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to bring up is that I watched the documentary, and I'll send it to both of you. I would play it here, but I get a copyright strike. Where they said that Marvel Comics, in its heyday, you know, like before, you know, like we're talking about the 70s and 80s and even earlier. But like I didn't realize, like people talk about like numbers now, like, oh, those are dog numbers. Like 42,000 was a shit book.
Yeah,
it's a relatively low number.
Yeah.
The documentary I read said that they were used to moving 1 million or 2 copies
the
of
DC
books.
I believe the DC implosion that happened in the late 70s, their cutoff number was 40,000. Any book selling under 40,000
canceled
was done.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, like, but they said, and then these ladies, what else? They had a female narrator, and she said that what really hurt comics after that was especially around the time the Image came in, was Image came in and then right underneath them, or riding on their, like, they were like a Trojan horse, because riding on the back of Image was the speculator market.
Mm-hmm.
That he got in there.
They had the speculator market with them at the get-go.
Yeah.
Image did, but that's because of the reputation they had at Marvel and DC.
Right, but then I mean, so people started buying comics as investments rather than for that,
and that retailer dollar only went so far.
Well, here's what
and
these
the first
people
thing it
fail to
crippled were
realize.
the independence and any level of outside creativity that
Look,
was coming.
comic books were worth money because they were rare, right?
Yep.
So, and people thought, hey, if I go out and buy Spawn #1 or Jim Lee's Wildcats #1 because it's an issue #1, I'll go buy 10 copies of that, and then I'll put my kid through college. Well, here's the thing: when you sell 8 million copies, like X-Men #1 did, say Jim Lee, that is like the definition of not fucking rare, right?
Yeah.
You know why Walking Dead is worth so much money? #1, it's because it had such a low print run that it's almost impossible to get, right?
Yeah.
And
collectability
so those
comes
comic books that are worth speculating on. So all these speculators, I mean, we see it time and time again. Anytime you go into a comic book shop and you go to the 50-cent or dollar bin, what do you see there? Crap from the 90s, right? And it's mostly old Image books.
I wonder too, are we going to see this, guys, with the books that we're funding now? Are we going to see in 20 years, is Cyberfrog, the new release, is that going to be?
No, the thing that you're missing here that Larry pointed out was availability and print run numbers. That's why the Golden Age books are as valuable as they are, because the collectability is high on them, because back in the 50s they had book burning. I mean, they were moving millions of copies, but they were also burning hundreds of thousands of copies.
And on top of that, no one kept care of them.
And nobody knew they were going to be valuable.
Yeah, right? No one knew.
With the crowdfunding books, you're only seeing 5,000 copies, maybe of site. Is it 5? Do you think 5,000 or 10,000, maybe at most, of Blood Honey out there?
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
I mean, how many backers?
That would be a number.
Probably 2 or 3 for each copy that backer may have gotten, that'd be circulating out in the world, And
we know one copy that got burned already. So
yeah,
low print run. So the Paul Green cover that I have going on, I've already gotten people that are Paul Green fans wanting the cover because they know Niobe has a low print run. You know what I mean? And they want that cover. Like, I'm a big Paul Green cover, and I got to have that ultra rare cover that I know I can't find anywhere.
Yeah.
See, most of the old Arrow books, like Ralph is talking about here, moved 8 to 25,000 each.
Right.
You don't see them. You don't see them around anymore.
No.
No, you'll see them. You're probably going to start seeing them pop up at shows now, slowly but surely, especially if Caliber gets lucky and lands Realm or lands Dead World out there.
I do want to bring up one other topic.
Inviso World, blah. That was an actual title. Somebody put out a blank comic book with just frames and dialogue in it, called it Inviso World.
Really?
Yeah, that's part of what triggered the black and white bust, is people started putting crap books out there and taking advantage of the retailer dollar.
Well, before I jump into this next situation, then, do you think we're going to have people jumping up and putting out crap books on crowdfunding?
You've already seen it.
Some stuff.
You've already seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say what books I think are crap, but there are books that definitely interest me on crowdfunding, and there's definitely books that are not. And when you go through a crowdfunding page, you can definitely have a look and see, what the plot is or what the story is, and maybe some of the pages of the art, and immediately you're going to make a decision. Either that's a book I'm going to back, or that's a book I'm not going to back. Right. And a lot of people try their hat at this, and they try it half-heartedly, and they do a rush job on something, and you can tell that it's not ready to go. Not every book is going to be, that hot new thing. Unfortunately, it's like there are thousands and thousands and thousands of independent comic books out there, and they all want the same thing. And not all of them can have it.
Yeah. Real quick, Randy, the tweet read around the world at least. Want you guys' opinion on it? Yeah, I'm gonna put it up here on the screen from Miss Santos.
Did you screen cap it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Common professionals aren't customer service representatives.
And what's that little icon? The little
That's
I don't
shrug.
know icon, the little shrug icon.
The shoulders.
Yeah.
Shrugging the shoulders.
You guys want to talk about that very quickly before we wrap up here?
Well, can I tell you what I put on Twitter? I suggest someone, I wasn't going to do it, but just one, send her a note and tell her she's absolutely right. Comic professionals aren't service representatives. And then send them a couple of screenshots of crowdfunding campaigns that are 6 figures or more. And then send her a note and ask her how she's doing. And see if she's got enough money for dog food.
Yeah. 20 years ago, she would have been right. Like 20
Because
years
she's got a
ago,
dog. No.
20 years ago, before the age of social media, you didn't have access to these creators, right? You know, like there's no way I can message Jim Lee and go, hey, I'm fucking unhappy with your book, unless if I wrote in the Marvel, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But now that we have Facebook and Twitter and stuff, these creators are far more accessible and they're far more accountable, especially when you're running a crowdfunding campaign because it's your face and name that's on it. Again, 25 years ago, you know, there wasn't a Kickstarter, there wasn't an Indiegogo. Larry Higgins could not put up a book and then promote it on Twitter. That stuff just didn't exist. So comic book creators, you know, to me back in the day, especially when I was first collecting, were almost a mystery. You didn't even know who these people were unless if you read about them in Wizard Magazine or something to that nature, you know, like.
With print on demand, you'll never see those books skyrocket. If they do, they can reprint them unknown to fans.
That's right.
They do not have to say it's a second print. Well, the same thing was rumored about Cerebus #1. That mysteriously got a lot of additional #1s out on the market that were counterfeits.
Rags did the same thing. Look, so there was a series of Rags books before they got with the Antarctic Press that hit eBay, and people were flipping them left, right, and center, right? And Brian Ball was actually getting a little upset with this. So what he did was he put that book on Kablam on print on demand. So that just like that guy said in the message, now that anyone can go and print that book on demand, it made that rarity of that book worthless, and that stopped people from flipping the book on eBay.
Yeah. You'll never know, so speculators beware, readers enjoy. Ralph said, Ralph, you really need to get some podcasting equipment. You need to get you set up so that you can come on.
Yeah. All you need is a headset.
Yeah. Headset. I've got some additional mics here and stuff. They're not blue mics.
Ralph, I know you do good doing this, and you've got a good perspective of the, you know, you have the same perspective of the early 80s. That because you went through it.
Plus, he has numbers in his head.
He's got numbers in his head.
Yeah, he's got the numbers up there.
His memory is a lot better than mine.
We got to wrap up here tonight, but real quick, Larry, before I kick you, let everybody know where they can find you.
Rebel Comics and Gaming on YouTube is really where I'm found. That's where I'll go on there. I'll talk comics. I'll talk Niobe. 70% of it though has been live gaming lately. You can tweet at me on Niobe Comic on Twitter, Facebook Niobe Comic, Instagram Niobe Comic, and keep your eyes out for the Indiegogo campaign for Niobe Birthright #1, where you're going to see that cover by Luigi Terrell, the crossover cover with Sailor Rags. That's where I'm going to unleash it. That's going to be our special exclusive cover that's going to come to Indiegogo next month. Once I wrapped up this Kickstarter campaign, I bring it all over to Indiegogo.
Cool. Sounds good. And it's cool that you're waiting till the other campaigns fulfilled.
I'm not going to even bother looking at it until I've mailed that last package, dude.
Yeah, that's cool. And Randy, where can they find you at, sir?
I just want to take a moment to say hello to John, Emily, and Jaron, that they're on my side of the Facebook.
Okay.
So hello, folks. Really happy that you're here. And again, real happy everybody's listening to us on IndieVolt Radio.
IndieVolt Radio numbers actually got pretty up there today. Right now, this morning, as of right now, 13,488 people.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to start showing some of these screen caps out there to show that we're actually getting that kind of an audience. And
yeah, I'll screen cap
appreciate
that
each and every one of you out there. But you can find me at the Zim Geek channel on YouTube. That's ZIMMGEEK. Here on YouTube, there's new content coming, I swear. And then I can always be reached on Gmail, Facebook, Twitter if you have to. I don't twit very often, but when I do, you're welcome to be up there. I'll catch you eventually. Emily says hello. Finally, she popped up. Trico says hello. He was there before, so.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Lasco. Hello. She was on.
But yeah, as far as upcoming conventions go, nobody has any.
Yeah. No one
So
has
I've
any.
got a show in Saginaw at the end of June. I'm still not sure. Everything's all up in the air. Our local governor's spinning the wheel today to decide how many more days we get to be stuck indoors until they decide how many more days after that we get to stay stuck indoors.
Yeah.
So we just hope everybody out there stays healthy, takes good care of themselves, and stays safe.
We want to tell everybody too, especially if you want to get on the show here, message Randy, myself, let us know. Hey, I want to come on the show. I have a book I want to promote. We're always willing to
We
talk.
hit a good audience, and we want a wide variety of people on here just to show how great comics are.
Well, look, you had Emily on. I assuming that's the same Emily that was on.
Yeah, it is. We had her on Tuesday. She was awesome.
Yeah.
And then, but you can also get, if you want to ask anybody any questions, even if you want me to send a question to that person who's a past guest who's been on, you can do so by emailing indievolt@indievolt.com. Please include IndieVolt in the subject field and keep those emails to 90 words or less. Please, pretty please. And we'll make sure we get them to the right people.
And
And
easier for Varian to be able to type it up on a panel.
All hate mail, even if it's coming to me, is addressed to Rob Anderson.
Yeah.
That's right.
Poor Rob. And then if you want to join 13,000 people who are listening today, you can do that. It's pretty easy. You can take IndieVolt with you wherever you go. IndieVolt Radio is a perfect companion to our official website, indievolt.com. IndieVolt Radio plays the best in indie music, entertainment, news, and more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can reach from talent like Park, Squares, and Alley, and Dims One. Download the IndieVolt Radio app on Android's Google Play Store today, or listen in with the streaming app on iOS. You can also check out IndieVolt Radio by visiting our official site, indievolt.com, and utilizing the built-in player right there on the front page. And finally, because we know you're stuck in the house and you got nothing to do, IndieVolt TV. Right. IndieVolt TV is the over-the-top streaming service available on Roku and coming very soon to Amazon Fire Stick and more. Stream independent movies, music videos, wrestling, original documentaries, and more on IndieVolt TV. And did I mention that it's completely free? It's free. Find IndieVolt TV by searching the channel store on your Roku device or Roku-enabled television. So, that's going to do it for us here today. Of course, you know where to find me. Varian Grant on Facebook, IndieVolt. I'm everywhere. Just make sure that you shoot me a message. Let me know if you want to come on the show, or if you want us to do something like get Randy a different color hat, we could do that.
I have different color hats. It's just I like black. So.
Yeah. So does my wife. Anyway,
that was quick thinking.
You guys all stay happy, stay healthy,
stay safe.
We will see you all. Special show tomorrow, special drawing stream.
What's going on there? Josh
Lyman, Eric Hodson, a few other spots open. Contact us about that, doing a live draw stream. We're going to be taking requests, but we'll get some more information out on that probably today. And so make sure you tune in for that tomorrow, right here on IndieVolt on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Maybe a special stream over the weekend if something pops up.
Oh, yeah. There's always a possibility
to talk about. So.
Yeah.
Plus, then we'll be back here Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
The wonderful Geekgasm by the lovely Lola is on Wednesdays at 9 p.m.
Yep.
So that's the usually comics and geekdom as from a female perspective.
Yep. It's
right.
Yep. It's actually next week's show should be pretty good. She's not ready to announce who she's going to have as a guest, but she'll be pretty good.
Special guest. Yep. And then we'll be back here again for the Breakfast Buzz Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, that's right.
So hopefully we'll see you then.
Until then, everyone, stay healthy. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks a lot for being here.
Adios.
Take care.